As you know, I usually create videos that are related to natural solutions in overcoming different health symptoms and health ailments. But this documentary has compelled me to share my reactions and thoughts. This was published last year, 2022, and I only got the chance to watch it a few days ago. One of the reasons that have motivated me to produce this video is because of this quote. The world is not dangerous because of those who do harm, but because of those who look at it without doing anything, by Albert Einstein. The question, what is a woman, seems elementary, basic, and straightforward, but it is not to some people. Check this out.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that? Well, you're at the Women's March. You must have some idea. A woman is not anything in particular.
There is not one particular thing.
It could be many things to many people.
Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
I like scented candles, and I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm a woman?
That's a great question.
You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major.
No.
How do you know that you're a man?
I guess because I got a dick.
Can a man become a woman?
I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male. I will never be a man.
And so they go on the internet and they're told that all of their problems will be solved if they become a man.
So you worry that there could be a sort of social contagion element of this?
A teeny tiny bit, maybe.
It got me at 42. Your child doesn't have a chance.
And you're affirming it with hormones that have never been used in this way.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible.
Completely reversible.
One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders.
You know what? I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview.
You don't want to talk about the drugs that you give to kids, or?
How can they be removing the healthy breasts of 15-year-old girls?
There are masculine girls. There are feminine boys. What are we going to do about that? Carve them up?
How can this whole thing be happening, Matt?
I wanted us to have a safe place to be able to talk about this.
Part of me wants to ask why you care so much.
I care about the truth. I care about children. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them.
Is it transphobic to tell the truth?
The interview's over. Let's turn off the cameras.
Excuse me.
Fair. I just wanted to know, what is a woman?
And you're not going to find out.
Based on what I'm saying, would you ever want to move to America?
They say no, never.
What is a woman? I just want to be transparent with you guys, okay? Even though I am a woman, I could not come up with a clear answer when I first encountered this question. What is a woman? I was left feeling embarrassed and puzzled. However, after watching the documentary, I realized that we are all conditioned in ways we do not even realize. Our social programming controls the way we speak, the way we think, the way we perceive. Once again, our social programming controls the way we speak, the way we think, and the way we perceive. I have been consciously using gender-neutral language for several years now out of respect and compassion for transgender individuals and all individuals in this planet for that matter. However, I recently discovered that by adopting solely gender-neutral language, I have unintentionally silenced and disrespected myself as a woman. It is disheartening to realize that, and it's very sad that this is happening right now. If you're unaware, in 2021, an LGBT plus charity successfully lobbied the Scottish government to remove the term mother from maternity policies. Remove the term mother from maternal policies. This is just one example of how the push for gender-neutral language and policies can negatively impact women. It has been more than 10 years, more than a decade, since I've been to any London Pride, Brighton Pride, or any Pride for that matter in England. The last Pride I attended was mainly because of my friend. I love him very much, and that's the reason why I went there. I just wanted to spend time with him. And that very last Pride, that just reminded me how much I did not want to be there. You know why? There's so many men exposing their naked bum literally in your face. And you look around, there are so many children, which shouldn't be there in the first place, if I'll be honest with you, because people should know that in Pride, people tend to dress up, well, not dress up, but be half naked. And I really felt that going there did not bring any more value to me. And I thought to myself, I did not want to be a part of this anymore. So for many years, me and my wife, Alyssa, would celebrate Pride in a different way, privately, and we've been very happy doing that. Recently, though, I am very pleased to know that I am not the only one, or we're not the only one who's seeing the problem. And let me show you these beautiful people.
As a lesbian and the founder of Gays Against Groomers, I'm done with Pride because it's become a degenerate kink fest. It doesn't represent me at all. It doesn't represent the gays and lesbians I know. And they're shoving it down everyone's throats, especially children's. It's disgusting. And we're going to take it back, whether they like it or not.
I'm done with Pride because it's become an embarrassment. As a gay man, I want nothing to do with it because all it is now is a celebration of debauchery, indulgence in narcissism, victimhood, and grooming of kids who shouldn't be there in the first place. That's why I'm done with it, man.
As a lesbian, I'm done with Pride because it's embarrassing. Have you been to one lately? That does not represent me, and I'm disgusted with it being pushed on children.
I didn't walk away from Pride. Pride walked away from me. And they went in a direction that I don't agree with.
Boom.
And I will fight against this agenda along with Gays Against Groomers.
I'm a 37-year-old lesbian butch and I'm done with Pride. I used to go to these parades since I was 15 years old when it used to be about celebrating ourselves and fighting for equal rights. But since we have it, we don't need it anymore, and we definitely don't need them to push it on the children and sexualizing children.
If any one of you have watched this documentary, please let me know in the comments. Like, what do you think about this documentary? Did it enlighten you in so many ways? As a naturopathic practitioner, I was so disturbed by this.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects? And
no.
Of course.
No.
They're never going to say the side effects.
And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental. We have studies that said that medical transition helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
After?
After surgery. But that's transphobic to say. For the first time in history, a marginalized group has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
What?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery.
To male.
We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will kill me from infection that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation of children because nobody's willing to talk about anything. I have 3 kids. at the age that they're doing this to kids. I'm not transphobic. I love my kids, and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong on so many levels.
Can kids consent? Do you think kids are capable of consenting to this?
No, they're not. Being a parent is loving the hell out of your kids and helping them see around corners.
Okay, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that clip, and every time the word children is mentioned, I just get teary-eyed. You know why? I get all fired up when children are used to gaining other people's agenda. What really, really fires me up even more is if we talk about profitability and you're using the innocence of children. Yeah, that just makes me wanna, Anyway, here is another eye-opening clip from me, and I hope that this will also be an eye-opening for you. There will be two characters, and this was my first time learning about these two. But hey, we just have to be nice. Here's the clip.
Matt, I want to show this to you. You're a parent, right? Okay? It's perfectly normal for 10 years and up. Here's just one page I want you to see here.
My God.
For 10 and up, huh?
That is definitely
It's unspeakable
100%.
what these people have done to our children.
When did that start? When was it decided that we need to start teaching kids about this stuff at such a young age?
So I'll answer that with one word. Kinsey. Kinsey was a social reformer. He wanted to rid society of Judeo-Christian values when it came to sexuality. And he worked very hard to do that, and I would say he succeeded.
Kinsey would be very happy with our culture today. His idea was that children are sexual from birth, that we're all inherently sexual creatures from cradle to grave. He believed that true happiness is found in a life of perverse sexual experimentation, no matter the age.
What came out is that his research was fraudulent.
Kinsey based his fraudulent conclusions on data he collected from convicted sex offenders and child molesters. His research was conducted in prisons, not everyday America. He also performed horrific sexual experiments on children, some under the age of 1. His most influential book, Sexual Behavior in the Human Male, contains an infamous chart called Table 34, which documents the orgasms of very young kids, including babies as young as 5 months old. But instead of suffering the consequences for his heinous actions, he was and still is celebrated by academia and Hollywood. His ideas form the foundation for sexual education in public schools today. How do we get from this to you can choose your own gender?
Okay, well, now we have another very important character, and his name was John Money.
John Money was a psychologist and professor at Johns Hopkins University. Gender ideology was his brainchild. In fact, he coined the terms gender identity and gender roles. And according to Money, babies are gender neutral at birth. And ultimately, environment determines whether a person is a man or a woman.
Money was telling the world about his theory that a boy could be raised as a girl and do just fine, and vice versa.
And so Money tried out his theory on 2 young twin boys, the Reimer twins.
When the twins were 8 months old and they went to be circumcised, the first twin, whose name was Bruce, something went wrong with the machinery and his penis was burnt off. They stopped and didn't do a second circumcision on the other twin, as you might imagine. And the parents, of course, didn't know what to do. How are they going to raise this child?
John Money convinced Bruce's parents to transition him into a girl. Money also conducted sexually abusive experiments on the twins throughout their childhood, including forcing them to simulate sex acts on each other.
He reported up to the age of 10 that this was a complete success. Well, wasn't true.
The results were a disaster. Bruce could never fully accept his female identity. Eventually, his parents told him the truth, and he chose to transition back to a boy, taking the name David. As an adult, David spoke out about the abuse and the damage done to him by John Money.
The girls would do their things with their Barbies and things like that, and that wouldn't interest me. And things such as trucks and building forts and, getting into the odd fist fight and climbing trees. That's the kind of stuff that I like, but it was unacceptable, so I'd never...
As a girl?
As a girl, I had no place to fit in.
The trauma that he and his brother and his entire family went through left deep scars. His brother died of an overdose when he was 38, and then David committed suicide.
There was never a retraction or an apology from John Money. Instead, his ideas were adopted by mainstream psychology, and they form the basis of gender ideology today. Why don't more people know about John Money and Alfred Kinsey?
Well, guess what? There are forces behind the curtains that don't want this information out. The other day, I saw an online content, and it says something like, Johns Hopkins University has been blasted by JK Rowling for labeling lesbians non-men. The university's LGBTQ guide said non-binary people need to be included in the definition of a lesbian, so-called them, a non-man attracted to non-men. JK Rowling hit back saying the glossary did not require a definition of a man when referencing gay men, and she was critical that women were the only reference in relation to men. Beautiful, JK Rowling said that it was only the word lesbian that was defined in that way, the non-man weird like that. However, gay men were not touched. So what's up with that? If you pay close attention, in the English word, lesbian is the only word that is not actually linked to a man. Man, woman, male, female. Lesbian it's not linked. And now it's becoming like non-man. My God. I don't know about you. Can you please let me know your thoughts in the comments about what's going on? Because, dude, I am done with this. Honestly. When I was a kid in the 90s, I was naturally attracted to girls and boys, especially the intelligent ones. There was something about someone who was excelling in class that I got really, really attracted to that person. These days, whenever someone would ask me or curious to learn what my sexual orientation is, I would politely reply sapiosexual, which means a person sexually attracted to intelligence or the human mind. But despite of that, I am definitely more inclined towards an adult human female, which is what a woman is. Back then, if you're a 90s kid, drop me some love in the comments, my friend, because look, if you remember, if you are in the 90s kid, we didn't have any teachers telling us, by the way, pupils, you can identify now as a cat, a dog, a penguin, or 100 of other gender identities. No, we did not have that teacher. Thank God for that. That would just confuse the hell out of me. As a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid, I remember I was like struggling to even do my own studies. My mother decided to put me in a private school when I was young. And this particular institution in our city have very, very high expectations when it comes to grades. All throughout my childhood, adolescence, I have suppressed my desire towards women. I keep suppressing it. I was telling myself, I'm straight. I am definitely into guys. I'm definitely into boys, but that's not how it turned out. Fast forward today, at the age of 36, I am grateful to say that I have full clarity of who I am because of my life experience. I was not influenced by teachers confusing me with so many gender identities. I wasn't exposed to various TV shows and various movies that having the gay role there constantly. I just figured everything out myself through my own life experience. And that's also one thing I should mention in this video. Why can't just people leave the kids be kids and let them just freaking get on with other things? Because if they truly are going to be attracted to the same sex and other things apart from that, they will go there naturally if they are truly, genuinely are who they are. You, me, any adults should just leave the kids alone. Women have been tolerating this nonsense for quite some time, just because we can tolerate all the that's being thrown at us. For some reason, we women are really good at handling that. Don't you agree, girl? However, when someone is obviously a man and he dresses as a woman and tells me that he is a woman, I'm sorry to tell you, but no, you are not. We women are not some sort of like a dress that you put on and then boom, you're a woman immediately. If you haven't gone through puberty, menstruating, hormonal issues, I'm sorry, but do not call yourself a woman. I am really done with this delusion and other people's imagination and imposing it that we should affirm it and agree to what they're saying. If they want to be a cat, a wolf, whatever, we should affirm it because of equality. That is bullshit. I'm sorry to say that, but it is just utter nonsense. Whether you're a parent or not, I highly recommend that you watch this documentary and please share this video to your loved ones because this topic needs to be discussed. Don't wait one day that this phrase non-men is going to be around. Don't wait for that to happen. Before I decided to put this video online, I'm definitely prepared that I will be attracting lots of people, but I'm not just gonna sit here and look at this nonsense progressing. I'm sorry, but this needs to stop. Asking questions is a sign of strength and curiosity, not weakness or ignorance. Whenever we ask questions, it helps us develop critical thinking skills. By asking thoughtful questions, we can learn to analyze information and evaluate arguments more effectively. So next time you have a question, do not be afraid to speak up and ask. You never know what new knowledge or insights you might uncover. This is exactly the reason why I left the Philippines 14 years ago, because I was not allowed to question different things. And that has been one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. I love my parents very much. However, I knew that asking questions for me is a bridge for growth and lifelong learning. Thank you very much for your time. And please share this video to anyone you care about. I will put the links in the description where you can find access to watch it. It's in Twitter and various different platforms. Take great care. Stay curious and proactive. Most importantly, thank you once again for your time and see you in the next one. Bye.